Yo, what's going on, man? It's your boy Dane Diddy.
Ambitious Ace.
Bang Bang Boomerang.
Lovecraft Country, Strange Case. Man, this
AKA
episode
Skin.
right here starts out with Ruby waking up as a white woman.
Yes, all the way.
All the way.
Yeah.
It's the same exact white woman that had arrested Montrose and everybody in the second episode that was guarding the cellar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which died.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, okay.
Which is also ringing alarms in people's mind like, So she goes into the hood, south side of Chicago,
Shout out.
bumps into a boy. The cops show up quick, fast, about to start whooping this dude's ass. I think this is the first time she realized that she wasn't really, black anymore. Maybe
Yeah.
she thought she was saying things.
Mm-hmm.
The huss starts breaking up. The cops take her back to William.
Yep.
And then he pulls a knife out and starts cutting her open on the floor while they're giving this speech on the television. Now, how did you guys feel when you were seeing this? What were you guys thinking initially?
It was very alarming and traumatic at first because I'm just like, good gosh, like just the way Man of Will came out. He had the whole clear plastic.
Yeah.
Just ready, like, this is just routine, and and it was just like, all right, this is how we starting the episode. Cool.
Yeah, my brain was like the old Windows loading window when it's just that little circle just going around. In my mind, like, what the hell's happening?
I don't even know if you want to say the old window loading. You could just say PlayStation 5 pre-order loading.
Yeah, that little loading. My brain was taking some time to register. I was like,
And then it's like, do not compute, try again.
exactly.
Yeah.
Refresh. That's what I was trying to do on my brain. I was refreshing. I couldn't figure out what was happening. I was like, wait, she's white. Now she got stabbed. I'm like, yeah, this is a lot for me. Let me just keep watching.
But when it was playing the whole story, what was about the locust and everything like that, I was just like,
Okay.
And it was at that moment I knew that your theory was, or that
It's
you
not
true.
my theory.
Well, the theory that
I don't
you
wanna
spoke
take credit
about,
for
that
somebody.
you spoke about, at that moment, I was just like, oh, the theory's right.
Yeah.
William is what's her
Christina.
name? Christina.
Yeah.
So I called it from there.
But I did like to play about, I think they talked about butterflies,
Mm-hmm.
where the caterpillar, you caterpillar for a while and then you're a butterfly. I can't remember exactly what they said, but at the moment I was like, yeah, this is dope. But like I said, my brain was so refreshing, so I can't remember. Shout out.
So then we see Ruby and William having a conversation, and basically he just puts a whole stack of money and another potion on there. She's just talking about how, she wants to leave, and he's like, yo, you're free to go. And I
Yes.
think that's when she realized, like, William wasn't on no craziness. He wasn't trying to kidnap her or anything. He was just trying to help her through the process. You know what I'm saying? And he was also, as we find out in the end of the episode, basically is like, yo, you should use this to your advantage, to take advantage of whatever you haven't been able to do before and do things that you haven't been able to do. So she goes out. She didn't even leave. She left the money because she said, I spent the only currency that I even needed, and that was whiteness. When she said that, I was just like, bars.
Pretty much.
You ain't lying.
I think it's important to know that too, like that whole scene where they were playing the For Color Girls over it was just crazy in the fact that she's walking around as a white woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the whole time I was just like, damn. The whole episode I was just like, damn.
My thing was the pain that she went through after turning back to normal.
She said it wasn't pain.
I thought she said it was pain, like something she'd never expressed before.
She said it wasn't necessarily pain, but I forgot what word she used to explain it. You don't remember either?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I know she said it wasn't agonizing, but it was something like, I don't know, maybe it could be like a, so if it wasn't pain, then yeah, she's perfectly fine, man. Get out there, get your money. Yeah. I thought it was painful because it looked painful. She was screaming and everything like that. It looked very traumatic, and I think she probably second-guessed herself whether she should continue to go through this in order to be, I guess, white and everything like that, or just go home and live her normal life. I guess she felt like her normal life was that bad to where she'll go through that ordeal to be somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, I think what it was she just wanted to see like how different it was. So she went back into the apartment store with the same resume she probably submitted earlier, and now she got the job as a manager. 'Cause she
Yes.
was obviously overqualified for the position, which was interesting because she went and she tried to console the black employee that was there and try to give her some advice. And then she finds out that the girl's kind of uneducated and didn't even get an education whatsoever. So they just felt somebody to fill the position. They didn't give a damn if you were qualified and black or not. They just were just trying to fill the quota of having a black employee.
Well, we found out later why, but yeah, they was just she wasn't anything special, and there's no reason why she should have got denied when she applied the first time.
How did you guys feel when she was on her lunch break and the white girls were talking breezy up in the break room, and she actually had to hear it, but they don't know that she's really a black woman? How did y'all feel about that?
You know, it was kind of telling. I mean, I think we'll give anything to be in those type of situations just to see what to be talking about. And, you know, and I think what gave it away for me was the fact that, you know, they wanted to go to a colored club or whatever, because the fact that it was so I forgot what the word they used. It was just like, to me, it was just so daring and so exciting rather than going to a white club. And it was just like,
You know, that one girl wanted the D.
Listen,
She was like, "I'm going there for some black D."
my eyebrows are all the way up.
so I think that's what it was. It's just, you know, for her to see that and experience that is just crazy in its own right, because, you know, it's just wild.
I mean, but it's something that we all know, but seeing it probably, reinforce. Like, I would hate to see that, you know what I mean? Like, to kind of already know it's there, but then to actually feel it and see it,
Yeah.
It's like, that's really tough.
It would make you really mad.
It would make you really, really, really upset.
You know what's happening, but you don't know what's happening.
Like, when you hear it, I'm sure she really wanted to defend it, and she kind of did, and she talked about it, but it had to be really tough for her to kind of stay in character, which I'm glad she did,
Yeah, so basically we find out William's doing this because he needs a favor. He wants her to go in undercover as a servant, which she can't stand, to place this rock on the police chief's desk. And she ends up in this closet with this guy that's tied up that apparently knows some information that he won't share, and she has to cover his mouth while she's stuck in the closet with him as the cop is having a conversation.
So I was kind of confused in that. I thought his skin was burnt, but it was actually black?
It looked like it.
Because that's what they said on the podcast.
Yeah,
You know, like his skin
I
was
didn't
black.
I didn't get a chance to listen to the podcast.
Well, they said that
this
his
time.
skin was black. So they was like, how does it got a black man's skin? I thought it was just burnt. And I never went back to watch the episode, but they said he was wearing the black man's skin.
That's what I saw.
So
I didn't catch that, so I need to go back and take a glimpse of that again.
yeah.
Because I'm listening to the book, so I'm on that chapter now. The
Oh,
chapters
okay.
are actually mixed
Okay.
because the chapter that I think they're going to show today is a chapter that I heard before the chapter for this.
Okay.
So I'm kind of getting a little bit of an understanding. I kind of got my own ideas of what's going to happen at this point. I'll just keep those to myself. I'm not trying to spoil anything. But she puts the stone, hides it, and then we get to the point where her and Christina kind of have like a final conversation, I guess you could say. Her and William, I'm sorry. No, it was her and Christina that had a
Christina.
conversation. And then she's just talking about how you should use this to,
Go ahead.
pretty much get revenge. So basically, the store owner tried to rape the black girl in the back alley.
Well, before you get on that
Yeah.
part, I just want to say, during that whole scene of her being at that white party, I just caught on not only that, I don't think it was just the fact that she didn't want to serve people. I think she missed being white at that moment, if that makes any sense. Because she's been running around as a white person for so long,
It's been a
not
minute.
having to deal with being, a slave and all that
Makes
like
sense.
that, And I just thought that was just kind of like apparent during that scene. It's just like, man, why am I here in this skin? I thought this episode dealt with a lot of, living life in your own skin type of
Yeah.
mentality.
Oh, absolutely.
fact. So I thought that was just kind of, pretty.
It's like driving a Ferrari and having to go back to your Nissan Altima. You know what I'm saying? I get that.
But isn't it crazy we got to think like that, though? It's just like, it's just wild how this episode played with the fact of white skin being the better alternative to black skin. And for her to actually live that in a lot of these situations, especially when dealing with the girl at the store,
Yeah.
when she said you look a little bit ashy. I was just like, yo, what the fuck?
She was jealous.
I
at
know
the
she
time.
was
I mean-
jealous, but she used that whiteness, you know.
Rightfully so. I mean, I think for her, she just knew that she was being held back.
Yeah.
And I think the other girl got the position because the guy wanted to have sex with her.
Yeah.
It's that simple, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like she was overqualified. She went to these schools. She did all these things. She was overly qualified, and she couldn't get
And
nothing.
that happens to black women all the time.
So for her, being her size and things of that nature, probably kind of, I think all that stuff was just really connecting.
All of that, yeah.
And really messing with her
Yeah.
as far as just, I think it really made her more messed up now that she's seen it versus just the assumption of it. Like,
Yeah.
this is why. But she still kept working hard. Now I want to see how she responds, knowing that no matter how well she does, none of it matters. You know what I mean? That's what I took from it. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we get to the end where she goes and acts like she's going to quit. Right now we're just focusing on Ruby. We'll get to the other characters. She goes and acts like she wants to quit because she wants to have sex with the manager. Man, this scene right here.
Yeah.
She ties him up, starts shedding, takes her heel off, and starts ramming it up his butthole.
Almost forgot about that
As
scene.
the
That was gross.
the guy on the TV is making these shocked, hurt faces.
Yeah.
And Cardi B is playing in the background.
Cardi B played twice
That's right.
Twice.
this episode.
I had a lot of people I saw on Twitter was like, why did they play Cardi B? And I'm like, why not? Why not? Why not?
I thought it was hilarious.
It was kind of crazy because it was just like, you're not supposed to be rooting for something like this, but it was oddly satisfying. And with her skin coming off as she was doing it, I think that how the hell did she time that shit? Like,
maybe she's
I'm
at a
gonna-
point where she can do it on her own.
that too.
Because I'm assuming Christina can just do it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like charge up.
Yeah,
Hawking be
just hawk
hawking.
out.
Like, but yeah, like that, he ain't never gonna forget that. Never.
Yeah. You probably a lot of therapy, a lot of sleep, a lot of resting. But yeah, I doubt. Yeah, that heel was a little extreme.
And you ain't about to tell somebody some black woman just shoved a heel up my ass.
No, you got to charge that to the game.
Yeah, who gonna believe you? Ain't nobody gonna believe you.
You gotta let that one go. You know
Let
what
it
I'm
go.
saying?
Let it go.
I mean, he was kind of pervy. He was kind of, preying on these women that worked with him. I guess the girls didn't know it then when they were talking about it, but at the party, they got a dose of that. So I doubt he'll be doing that anymore. So, and yeah, I thought it was a very powerful scene, a little extreme with the heel and everything. I'm sure he's not gonna be walking correctly for a couple of days. But yeah, man, shout out to the scene. It's very powerful.
Before we move on, I have one nitpick about the episode though, when dealing with Ruby. Why can't we never see her transformation into the white woman?
I don't think it's a trend. I mean, I don't know.
Might be
I have no
expensive.
clue.
That was my only thing. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not a
it
big
might-
deal,
yeah.
but
I mean, I'm good on that.
I was just curious. We got so much of the skin ripping off, I would like to see the transformation into the person, but no. I didn't know if it was just something that happened during sleep or, did they take the potion and it just happened?
I mean, it has to, because look that time on the last episode where Christina walked into the building.
I think that was for edits. I think that was too fast of a transition.
Or maybe she had a master by now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so she might have it to where it's different for her.
Yeah.
Not only that, maybe she doesn't need magic for it.
Be like
Could
a
be
coat.
right. Could be right.
Yeah.
So, man, the episode started out, we also got Montrose sitting in the room with the blood under his nails. Atticus and Letty walk in. And then he's just like, oh, where did so-and-so go? And then he's just like, oh, I forgot what he said. I just know Atticus just knew he was lying.
Yeah.
And proceeded to whoop that ass. I was just like, God, at that moment, I was like, this man could play a villain. And Lord knows the news that came out a couple of days later of him being Kang in the new Marvel series.
Oh, yeah.
But
that was hard to
Letty
watch.
just saying, like, yeah, that was tough. He straight whooped Montrose's ass.
Yeah.
He whooped his ass so bad that Montrose thought about his life for the rest of the episode.
Yes. And I think that is a good point you made because That shit was hard to watch just because of how much anger you can see built up in Atticus. It wasn't even just about that he killed her. I think it
Yeah.
was just everything probably from his childhood just came back. Like, I'm just so tired of you making all these decisions, for me,
Good
kind
point.
of thing, And I think that's just what the rage was. That was just like, I got daddy issue rage. Like, ugh.
Yeah, you can feel that scene from Atticus.
Yeah.
Like you can see he kind of like tapped into like another place, and he was gone.
He was the last dragon.
Yes, whatever that means. He was all that.
He possessed the power of the glow.
Yes.
Okay, I don't want that glove.
It was showing us glow.
Soul glow, everything, man. My man was in the zone. He was tearing his father up, and I'm sure there's a lot of sons out here in these streets that want to beat up their dad like that at some point in their life. You know what I'm saying? But it was rightfully so. My man's been lying this whole time. Probably been lying to him his whole life. He had to get them licks in. You know what I mean? So it
Well
is what it
put.
is.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
well
I get
put. Well put.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so after that, Montrose pretty much goes and he goes to the hotel to see, what was his name, Sammy?
I
No.
think. Yeah, Sammy, you're
It was
right.
Sammy.
Yeah,
It was Sammy.
Mhm.
So, so Montrose goes to see Sammy in the hotel, and Sammy is the store owner, if I'm not mistaken, that owns the club.
Mhm.
He owns the club that Atticus went to find him earlier. We saw him
Yep.
actually getting some head from a guy in the first episode
Mhm.
Oh,
in
okay.
the alleyway.
Right.
So Montrose proceeds to bend homeboy over, and they go to work. They
Yes.
pretty much go to town, and this is the first confirmation that Montrose is gay. We kind of got it from Tree. He kind of dropped some hints on Atticus, but Atticus didn't really believe it. But pretty much goes to town on Sammy. Then we see that Montrose basically doesn't want to own up to any of this in public.
Doesn't want to announce it.
Yeah, because Sammy's at this party. We got some guys in drag, and they're kind of having conversations. And Sammy's kind of protecting Montrose with some of the things he's saying, like, "Oh yeah, we haven't done anything yet." You know what I'm saying? Like you can see he's trying to protect Montrose and just like we're just friends. And Montrose isn't ready to have any type of like confirmation in any of this. So then we get this key moment where they go into the party. And Sammy is performing, man, killed the performance. And then he kind of walks over, does like a small dance to Montrose and leaves. But then Montrose kind of just gets involved in the environment. And I thought it was one of the funniest scenes I ever seen just because of how he came around to the party. Because he's kind of just sitting there and then he's like.
The whole scene, I'm just sitting there like, boy, live your truth.
Exactly.
Just
Come on, bro. Like the whole time, just live it, bro.
But it was cool to see, like, he's just like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then they pick him up and the glitter starts falling on his face.
Yeah.
It was intense.
He sold that moment. But at the same time, I was pissed because you still killed what's her name?
I don't know what her name is.
Gia? No. Wasn't it God, I had her name. Huh? I forgot. But I was still mad. I'm glad you brought this up because this whole episode, it's like, I'm feeling happy for you. I'm feeling happy that, you're finally living your truth and comfortable. At the same time, you ain't done some terrible shit on this show. Okay? You ain't lied. You ain't killed. You ain't lied. Like, it's hard. It was hard for me to feel happy for him this episode. And it's just like, I kind of was mad that the writers of the show gave him this moment, but I'm still thinking about what you just did.
Yeah, I'm still not. Yeah, everybody's still probably angry with Montrose at this point. Because it's just like, bro. I mean, in the book, I think I know why he did it, but at the same time, I'm still not happy about him killing. I don't remember the character's name.
I'm gonna find it.
The Siren.
The
Siren. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not feeling it.
So that was pretty much Montrose's arc for this episode, and we just had a couple other things where. Was this this was the episode where we saw Hippolyta and Ruby driving? They looked at that was the end, right? Or was that last episode?
That was last episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Atticus and Letty, we kind of just see them a couple times. They have a couple conversations. They get it in the chop shop or something along those lines. And for the most part, their arc was pretty short-lived.
I
So
think most of their arc was just about connecting.
yeah, pushing the
You know,
story forward
pushing
just a
them for
little
them.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the most part, that was basically the whole episode right there. It was basically a Montrose and Ruby episode.
Yeah.
Which was actually really entertaining. The Ruby stuff. Oh, and of course we have the final reveal of Ruby seeing William coming out of the basement, and then she's asking him all these questions. Actually, she saw Christina come out of there earlier, so now she's asking William, "Why are you in the basement?" And then
No, William had just came home.
William
He
had
was
just came
heading to
home.
the basement. She stopped.
Yeah, she stopped him, and then I guess he decided to do the reveal right there. So
Yeah.
he went ahead and shedded his skin, and it ended up being Christina.
But we cannot leave out the cliffhanger of that episode was when Atticus called old girl from Korea.
Yes,
Oh,
because
okay.
he wrote out something, and you could see it said "die" in the language, and Jamie Chung's character is it Jia.
Yeah.
She basically,
He said, "How did you know?" And she said,
you
"Something."
should have never went back there or something
Yeah,
along those
yeah.
lines.
Okay.
Bro, it's been a couple days since we watched it. But yeah, it was a very interesting episode, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. If I really, really, really hope the Hippolyta episode is next, because in the book that chapter is good, and man, it was so interesting. In the book, they don't have they didn't have a son. It was a girl. So Diana is actually a boy.
Okay.
Okay.
But and not only that, Uncle George is still alive and kicking. He's part of the main story. Yeah.
Oh man, I want to get rid of him. Best character.
There's a lot of characters in the story that ain't even in the script. And the cool thing I like so far is almost every quote that's said in the book is said in the show. Shout out to the writers. They're doing an amazing job.
Shout out.
I enjoyed this episode, man. Can't wait to watch the new episode tonight.
All right.
Anything else?
Uh-huh.
Nah, man.
All right, y'all, let us know in the comments down below how you guys felt about the episode, what you guys caught on, what you guys think is going to happen. If you've read the book already, chill. Don't spoil it for everybody else. It's only 3 episodes left.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know, right? Let us make it through on our own. Thank you guys for watching. We love you guys. Peace.
Peace.